show Sunday Night Football and Super Bowl 56, only on NBC.
Sunday night, we in front of everybody in our house. Y'all know what we gotta do. Y'all wanna be great?
Waiting all day for Sunday night. Let's get it.
You thought nothing could surprise you. You thought you'd seen everything, but you never saw me coming. All eyes on me, ready or not.
Jonathan Taylor, that was a thing of beauty. In traffic, touchdown.
I'm on my way. You can't stop what I got. Ready or not.
Touchdown, Chargers.
Oh, here I come, so you better get ready.
Everything he does is relentless, looking for perfection.
Down zone, you best get moving. I'm about to change the game.
Yes, he did.
Why do you not look busted up?
Because I'm cute.
Ready or not, you can't escape.
Oh, was that a sweet play?
You can't stop what I got. Ready or not.
The Chargers got a chance to go on a roll with a division that is wide open.
Hello, America. Sunday Night Football. We're back at SoFi Stadium, the home of Super Bowl 56, which is on NBC. Terrible towels have made their way to Southern California. They're everywhere. It's a pivotal game in the AFC playoff race. We know we got off to a great start with the second-year quarterback Justin Herbert, and the Chargers, they're struggling. Lost 3 of their last 4. The Steelers, meanwhile, they have the tie against the Lions. Big Ben missed that game, tested positive for COVID. Mr. Roethlisberger didn't practice all week. He's back tonight. And we've got Pittsburgh and LA coming up for you on a warm evening in Southern California. It's here on NBC's Sunday Night Football. But as always, we begin Sunday with Football Night in America. Hi, everyone. Mike Tirico, Tony Dungy, Drew Brees. Cast is all here, in place and ready to go. So, Drew, I said that the Chargers have gotten into this rut here where they've lost 3 of their last 4. That's after winning 4 of their first 5. We thought this was going to be a good team. What's happened?
Yeah, well, they came out hot, and they were making a bunch of big plays, especially guys like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, lots of shots each and every game. That's cooled off. They're getting a little bit different coverage, more shell, more two safety, just like the Kansas City Chiefs have been getting, and it's slowed them down a little bit. So they need to find a way to continue to find ways to take those shots, add it to the run game, and continue to progress.
Yeah, early in the season, it reminded me of the old Chargers, the lightning bolts with Dan Fouts. They've got to get back to that, get Mike Williams going. And speaking of getting back to it, I think the Steelers need to get back to their roots and run the football. You know, 50 passes from Mason Rudolph last week, that is not Steeler formula. Be balanced.
And Ben is back, as we told you. He traveled out after the team on Saturday. So this time last week, we were watching Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson not practice for a whole week and be rusty. Do you think we're going to see the same story with Roethlisberger tonight?
I know this. I'm a guy who needs reps, so I'd probably be rusty. But Big Ben, I think he's a different kind of guy. You know, I feel like I've seen him many times before miss the entire week of practice and come out and be lights out. So really, to me, it's about what kind of strength does he have after being sick with COVID here for the last week and a half. But, I mean, he could come out and light it up.
And improvisation is his game, so you don't always have to practice that. But they are going to have to be balanced to help him out tonight.
Well, it's around Thanksgiving time. So this is time we really know who's good in the NFL. We lean on these experts. We have no idea, right? Crazy. We saw more examples of it today. What stood out to you from the early games?
Well, what really stood out was the Colts' ability to run the football against what I think we all believe to be one of the best defenses in the league in the Buffalo Bills. And it wasn't even close to them. It was just gash after gash. Jonathan Taylor, they got a steady dose of him, 32 carries. When was the last time you saw a guy carry the ball that much? But all the way around, just an excellent performance running the ball by the Colts.
And the Titans have the best record in the AFC, but today it didn't show. They've been playing with fire. They lost to the Jets earlier. Today they lose to Houston with a bunch of turnovers. Just not really Titans football that we're used to seeing.
That shot of Mike Vrabel said it all.
Yeah.
Miserable day, miserable mood for the Titans. Never miserable is Maria Taylor. She's with Chris Sim.
Come on over here for a little joy. That's what we're here to bring you, okay? And we also like to bring you the best throws that Chris has seen so far today. So what are they, Mr. Sim?
Well, let's start with in Minnesota, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, the most gifted thrower I've ever seen in the history of the NFL. Today, he was on his game, and this was the best throw right here. Running to his left, makes it look so easy. Just a flick of the wrist and an absolute 30-yard laser that doesn't go 5 feet off the ground. Unreal in a loss. Okay, then there was Kirk Cousins in a win. Big throw right here, and this is why they won. In the face of pressure, got people bearing down on him, finds his go-to receiver, Justin Jefferson, who was absolutely on fire. That helped the Vikings pull out the victory, Maria. And then, little Heineke magic. All right, this wasn't necessarily the greatest throw in the world. It's the play. It's 4th and 3. It's a tie football game. Heineke magic, extending the play. Clutch. We've seen that the last few weeks. Those are the best throws of the day.
All right, Heineke, he's one of the undrafted quarterbacks that made huge plays today. We also had 2 making their first ever career starts. And we also have some stars living the high life out in L.A., Jack Collinsworth and Rodney Harrison. I hope you're enjoying the sunshine.
We are, Maria. Thank you very much.
So we did just welcome Snoop to the team. Let's be honest, after this swing out west, too, I don't want to go back east. I like the weather out here too much.
Let's go,
with some strange results all around the NFL. What was the most dominant defense that you saw today?
I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts. They did a great job of frustrating Josh Allen and not giving up the big play. They were outstanding. They had 3 interceptions. Kenny Moore came up with one of the best interceptions of the year. They had a forced fumble on special teams, 4 pass breakups. I just thought they played extremely well, man.
Against a really talented offense. At the top of this AFC, it's been a Rubik's Cube every week. You never know who it's going to be. Both Tennessee and Buffalo were stunned today. So who's the best team in this conference right now, do you think?
I'm gonna 2 of them. New England Patriots, and I think Coach Belichick deserves Coach of the Year consideration, and the Kansas City Chiefs. You know I'm never doubting Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
There you go. Here in Southern California, the Super Bowl city, both hometown teams, they found a little mid-season turbulence with the Chargers. They look to regain their smooth start against Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football. Chargers quarterback and Oregon native Justin Herbert has worked with the Eugene-based nonprofit Kids Sports to provide kids in his hometown with opportunities to learn and play with their friends. Herbert is a Kids Sports alum, and he hosted a golf tournament over the summer to support the organization. Herbert said the initiative changed his life, and he hopes that it will do the same for others. But check this out right here, Rod. We are joined by a Hall of Famer.
Yes, sir.
LaDainian Tomlinson. Can we give it up for LT one time?
LT.
I got to ask you right off the top, LT. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, I remember him when he was a rook.
Oh, yeah, I do too.
He brought me in.
How about young Justin Herbert? What do you think of his game?
Oh, he's been outstanding. As young as he is in the second year in this league, he's been cool, calm, and collected. You know, his maturity is what stands out to me. And think about this. Remember last year, his first start?
Yeah.
I mean, he was thrown in the fire, less than 10 minutes before the game. He found out he was going to be a starter and took Kansas City to overtime. So it tells you a little bit about the mindset, the patience, the maturity that this young man has.
Well, we're going to go to the defensive side, and Derwin James is my guy. He's my favorite player on this team. Talk about Derwin James, man, what you see from him when you watch him.
Well, Rodney, he can do it all. First off, he has the mindset that you had. I want to make every single play that I possibly can. And what I love, if you challenge him, that's when the best comes out of him. We've seen him cover the best tight ends in this league, Travis Kelce, but at the same time, he can still come down, support the run. He's an all-around man, but the one thing about him as well is he's a great man off the field.
How about with Austin Eckler? He is not the biggest man in the world, but he has a huge heart. What have you seen?
Well, this is a guy that's short, compact, powerful. If you look at his
legs, like you.
Hey, that's the one thing that I look at when I look at runners. I look at their legs. And when you look at Austin, powerful legs. You know, he has great movement in and out the line, in and out the line of scrimmage. He can get outside. He can catch the football. The man can do it all, and he's been durable. You talk about his size. He's been very durable, which is surprising for a smaller man. But it's all because of his legs.
One thing I love about you is when you came in, you was the most humble rookie I've ever been around. How does it make you feel, LT, and how humble you are that you're a Hall of Famer, and all these people are screaming your name and chanting your name?
It's very humbling, Rodney, because I've been retired. I retired in 2011, and for people to still, I get this reaction from the fans, and even the little ones, the little Charger fans. They say, "Hey, you're LT."
That's right, man.
It's mind blowing, honestly, and it's humbling to be at that stage.
Well, LT, this made my night. This made Rodney's night. And this made all of their night.
I called you this morning or last night? Last night.
LaDainian Tomlinson, the Hall of Famer, joined us. Mike Tirico, back into you.
7th all-time rusher in the history of the NFL. Back-to-back years, Chargers drafted Hall of Famers. LT in the first round of the 2000 draft, and you LT then, and you the second round, the 32nd overall pick of your draft. But even with that success, the Chargers haven't been good of late. They've only made the playoffs twice in the last 11 years. Maybe Brandon Staley, their first-year head coach, can change a little bit of that. You spent some time with him in the offseason. Give everyone an impression that you have of why you think Staley can do a really good job and get this franchise going again.
Yeah, well, first off, in an era when typically the head coaching hires are going to these young offensive gurus, here's a young, high-energy defensive coach who comes in, and immediately you could tell he has changed the culture there. He has given them a belief of winning, but he has also given them this idea that I am going to take care of you. We're going to develop the practice habits, and everything that we do is going to put you in the best position to go to Sunday as healthy and as ready as possible. And the players on his team, especially the veterans, love him.
Yeah, Tom Telesco, the general manager there with the Chargers, he worked with me for 7 years in Indianapolis. He loves Brandon Staley. He said what he's brought is structure. They're not losing those. We used to talk about Charger losses.
Exactly.
And they're not doing that now. You may beat them, but they're not going to beat themselves.
He's off the Sean McVay tree like Matt LaFleur and Zach Taylor. The youngest head coach in the NFL has a tree of his assistants who've gone on to be head coaches.
Amazing.
You'll see one of them in Staley tonight. Against Big Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers. Big Ben is back tonight. Over the years, Roethlisberger's foundation has supported police and fire departments across the country with an emphasis on canine units and service dogs. In May, his foundation committed more than $90,000 for a variety of canine-focused initiatives. Big Ben loves dogs, so many of you do. A reminder on Thanksgiving, the top dogs in America will compete for the title of Best in Show. It's the National Dog Show, Thursday, noon Eastern, after the parade here on NBC. So, you can watch the dog show, or you can watch the first game of the NFL triple header. Football Night continues after this. SoFi, site of the Super Bowl, coming up February 13th on NBC and Peacock. And speaking of Super Bowl, let's dive into the highlights, Tony. We'll start with a former Super Bowl MVP. Joe Flacco starting for the Jets today. Zach Wilson still out. They're playing Miami. Miami's up 7, third quarter. Here's Flacco to the rookie, good-looking rookie, Elijah Moore.
Yes, and Miami trying to disguise show blitz, come out of it late. Joe Flacco read it, touchdown.
Second-round pick out of Ole Miss, 4 touchdowns, last 3 games. Some of that young Jets foundation they hope to build. All even here at 14, but Tua, very strong day. Miles Gaskin, touchdown.
Tua really did. He played sharp, efficient football, led him to the win.
Miami wins their 3rd straight after that 1-7 start. Jets have lost their last 10 division games. Monday night, 49ers look great against the Rams. Can they back it up? The long trip to Jacksonville, Deebo Samuel still running over people.
And I think this has been one of the keys, getting him in the backfield. They've had injuries to their running backs, but they're getting back to their identity of running the football.
Use Deebo, use Brandon Ayuk as well. He had 7 catches, 85 yards. San Francisco scored in their first 5 possessions. Second half, they roll on Garoppolo to George Kittle.
Yeah, Kittle having him back in the lineup helps as well.
So they win by 20, 5-5 now. Minnesota at Seattle, at Cincinnati, the next 3. Should we start to believe that San Francisco can get this thing rolling again?
I think we should. We saw it against Indianapolis. I just thought they just got away from their identity, and they were worried they didn't have their backs. But if they run the football, it doesn't matter who's back there.
And defense, getting healthier, but it all starts with that front 4 and their ability to dominate the game. And I think they're playing a little bit better on the back end as well, especially these last 2 weeks.
And after the top 5 in the NFC, that group 6 through 11, they look a lot alike, and San Francisco looks good right now. More highlights, Maria and Chris.
All right, let's take it away. We got the Detroit Lions taking on the Cleveland Browns. Remember, the Lions are winless. Jared Goff out with an oblique injury. So 4th-year quarterback Tim Doyle making his first career start to the first quarter. Lions are driving, but Doyle ends up intercepted by Malcolm Smith.
Yeah, Boyle, they got a chance to put points on the board here, but just an errant throw. I mean, completely misses DeAndre Swift out of the backfield, throws it behind his head by a few feet there. Costly turnover.
How about this ensuing drive? Jarvis Landry taking the direct snap and taking it home.
Little trickeration by the Cleveland Browns, trying to get something going on the offensive side of the ball. Jarvis Landry just playing football. Nothing there makes it happen.
Okay, here's some good news. Nick Chubb is back in the lineup after missing last week with COVID.
That's right. When they can run with him, they're tough to beat.
All right, Nick Chubb had 130 yards. The Browns win. Houston taking on the Titans. Titans have won 6 in a row and have the best record in the AFC. Texans haven't won since week 1. That doesn't matter, okay?
No, it doesn't matter. And the Titans usually don't beat themselves, but we saw this over and over today. Fair catch by Chester Rogers. He doesn't get out of the way because he's trying to block the guy who's trying to down the football, and that, of course, costs the Tennessee Titans big time right here.
Yeah, Texans recovered at the 5-3 plays later. It's Tyrod Taylor keeping it for the 5-yard score. The Texans lead at 19-0. Taylor had 2 rushing touchdowns today, and then the fourth quarter, Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, off his game all game long. Desmond King with the interception there, but that game was still in the balance right there. That was a big turnover and a big moment there where they could have made it maybe mounted a comeback.
But when it rains, it pours.
Look at you. You're so good with the words.
5 turnovers for the Titans, 4 interceptions thrown by Ryan Tannehill. The Texans pull off a huge upset, but let's go back to the Titans. It was certainly sloppy. What stood out to you most about this loss?
I think we still don't know what the Titans' offense is without Derrick Henry. You know, I know they have 2 wins without him against the Rams and the Saints, but I would say the Rams and the Saints let that offense off the hook a little bit, you know, with their turnovers and their mistakes. So they're hurting with the play-action pass and certainly not controlling the offensive side of the ball because there's a lack of a running game.
Yeah, averaging almost half as much as they were when Derrick Henry was in the first 8 games. We'll talk about that a little bit more here on Football Night in America. And we'll also talk about Cam Newton starting for the first time in over 800 days in Carolina against his former head coach who we won an MVP and Rookie of the Year under. And we're all keeping our eye on right now the clash in Kansas City. The Cowboys are trying to eke out a win. The highlights are next.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Sunday Night Football! Everybody watching!
There is one of the best safeties in all of football. Derwin James in his 4th year out of Florida State. Still looking to prove he's worth that big money payday. Rod, the Chargers, they've had a special run at that position. Rodney Harrison, Eric Weddle, and now Derwin James. So how great could James be in your mind?
If he stays healthy, I believe he should be a Hall of Famer. He's big, he's 6'2", 220 pounds. He runs, he'll come up and hit you. They do a pretty good job of moving him around, but if I was coaching him, he would be blitzing, create negative plays and sacking the quarterback.
And everywhere we go, these terrible towels, they have a special place in their heart for you. So why do they seem to remember you so well?
Listen, I got love for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, you know, 1994, I was a rookie, and we went to the Super Bowl. And I mean, this is the AFC Championship game. And Dennis Gibson, our middle linebacker, made the most incredible play. He knocked the ball down, and guess what? I got pretty excited.
Why are you so excited right here?
I got like a $50,000 Super Bowl check, man. I was a rookie. That was bread. I needed that.
You even had muscles back then. Look at that.
But also, Cordell Stewart. Come on, Cordell. You know better than that. You can't be throwing that stuff around me. And I took him to the house.
Well, I'll tell you this. It is nice to be friends with the first player in NFL history to record 30 sacks and 30 interceptions over his career. It's about time we get you measured for that gold jacket, man. Mike Tirico, back over to you.
Amen to that, Jack. We're all with you here. We welcome those of you who watched the Chiefs beat the Cowboys. I want to show you the highlights of what happened with another team at the top of the NFC. It was Justin Jefferson and the Vikings taking on the Green Bay Packers, and Minnesota had it going. Here's Jefferson, a 9-yard score.
Yes, with that Moss shirt on, he said, put me anywhere. I can catch the ball for you.
All right, what did Aaron Rodgers have to do? Got a toe injury, second game back off of COVID. What's he doing? Davante Adams, where are you, man?
A lot of time for Adams to get open on that with no one rushing.
Second howitzer of the day, 6-point game, getting tight, as it usually is with these teams. It's Rodgers. It's Adams again for 18 yards.
Against the blitz is no one better.
7-115, first multi-touchdown game of the season for Davante. He had 2. Pack up 1. A response, it's Cousins. It's Jefferson again.
Speaking of against the blitz, all-out blitz, he knew where his one-on-one is. Justin Jefferson was huge today.
Moss-like numbers. Very next play after the kickoff. Rodgers. We're going to get into a shootout. Come on, MVS, as the cool guys call him. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 75 yards, tied at 31. Rodgers, 23 of 33, 385, 4 4 touchdowns, but Cousins gets it back, and this is a front shoulder throw to Adam Thielen.
Biggest throw of the day. I don't know where that one was supposed to go, but it looked fantastic.
They wasted the time, didn't give Rodgers any for a comeback. Greg Joseph from 29. It is ball game. And the Vikings play Aaron Rodgers well. Mike Zimmer's team does it again. They win 34-31. So here's Minnesota sitting at 5-5 now in the NFC North. They tighten this thing up with Green Bay. And I'm looking at the Vikings. Their 5 losses are by a total of 18 points. So was this enough to see a team that can make a run post-Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I mean, this just shows what they're capable of. And this was really a game that they really needed to win if they want to have a chance at a wild card opportunity. But when you've got these weapons outside like Thielen and Justin Jefferson, the game that he had, and running the ball with Dalvin Cook, you can be a very dangerous offense.
And they could have 7 or 8 wins right now. Last-second losses, missed kicks, but you're right. Kirk Cousins, if you cannot rush him, these weapons on the outside, they can make you pay.
I mentioned Mike Zimmer going up against Aaron Rodgers. Since Zimmer, the head coach of the Vikings, came in the division, he's 7-6-1 against Aaron Rodgers. The rest of the division, 21-6 is Rodgers' record against Detroit and Chicago. So Zimmer's got an answer for him on a regular basis. They meet again coming up on a Sunday night after New Year's. So I bring Mike Florio in and talk about the man we saw with the Randy Moss shirt and the man who had a Randy Moss type game, the Vikings' Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I spoke to Justin Jefferson. I said, what kind of a relationship do you have with the Hall of Famer, Randy Moss? And he told me not as big of a relationship as I want to. I admire him so much. He's classified as one of the best, if not the best receiver in history. Definitely trying to follow behind him. Definitely want that gold jacket. And he's on his way. 11 100-yard receiving efforts so far in his career. That matches Moss. And Jefferson has 7 more games to surpass Moss over the balance of his second season. Now, for the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers looked great, but he's been battling a toe injury. He was stepped on in the second quarter, went to the locker room a little bit early to get it checked out. He said after the game, it's a little bit worse than turf toe. It's very painful. He's trying to get through next week against the Rams. Then they have their bye, and it can heal up some, Mike.
We saw Rodgers last week coming back after he missed time with COVID. Same is true tonight. Ben Roethlisberger, no practice this week. Flies out to Los Angeles, ready to go on Sunday Night Football for the Steelers and the Chargers.
Celebrating the victory, presented by Allstate.
The Pittsburgh Steelers were the champions.
Number 1! With a circus catch.
3 world championships. Pittsburgh has taken 4 Super Bowl victories.
The Pittsburgh Steelers did it the hard way.
The first franchise to win 6 Super Bowls.
Football Night in America is brought to you by Applebee's new Cheetos Boneless Wings and by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Justin will always be the quarterback. We'd wear duck jerseys when we played football in the front yard.
The Herbert boys, the 3 of them would go at it. The games were epic.
He was always going to go play in the NFL. Like, we knew that. Pretty jealous of his work ethic and the things he's willing to do for success.
When Justin was a kid, he wanted to be a Sheldon football player. You know, that was his main drive.
He's very driven. He's the most locked-in person. Anything he sets his mind to, he'll do.
The most unselfish, hardest-working guy you'll ever come across.
Next level, I swear I'll take it.
You name it, he has got it. You saw all the pictures of him growing up. He was going to make it happen.
Gonna be a legend.
Oh, yeah, you see it. The Justin Herbert jerseys. Of course they're wearing number 10. He's the man. He is a rising superstar in our league, and I would already say is one of the best talents we got at the quarterback position. All right, let's check out the PointsBet Pulse. You see the over-unders, the passing touchdowns. Very efficient. We know Justin Herbert. He's big. He's accurate. He's got a strong arm. He's a good athlete. This is a good Pittsburgh Steelers defense. And the one thing I know Drew Brees and I both want to see is this Chargers offense push the ball down the field a little bit more. And that's the thing I think that jumps out to us more than anything right now that's kind of missing from this Chargers offense.
First 5 games you saw it a ton. Mike Williams a couple times a game,
right.
Keenan Allen, others, but that's kind of gone away these last 4 weeks. I think defense has been playing him different, but I think he's going to have opportunities tonight. Plays like this. Throw a high ball to Mike Williams. That's going to work out a majority of the time. Finding these seams, his tight end, Jared Cook, and others. And then plays like this where, man, pocket collapses, he gets outside, and look at this laser.
That's
on
insane.
The run, 40 yards down the field, in stride, on strike. This is the talent for this guy. Very few guys have this type of arm talent. Maybe a Mahomes, maybe a Stafford and a Rodgers, but this guy is in that league.
Agree with you all the way, Drew Brees. And you look at here, look at the stats we're talking about. I mean, yes, he's one of the best down-the-field throwers, as Drew was talking about, in the whole NFL. They don't do it enough. They can't run the ball. That, to me, is one thing that I think we'd both like to see more out of their offense. Push the ball down the field, Chargers.
Yep.
All right, now do this. Download the PointsBet app and get betting options you won't find anywhere else. Back to you, Michael Tirico.
Thank you, Christopher Sid. Holidays. We're relaxed. Hey, these are 4 teams that are going to be in the mix here for wild cards down the stretch if they have success. Eagles and Saints, and Jalen Hurts had a terrific day running it.
He really did. The Saints have a #1 run defense, but they could not stop Jalen Hurts today.
And New Orleans has been digging way too big a hole early in games. Here, Darius Slay the pick 6 on Trevor Siemian.
Siemian was not on early in the game. First 3 quarters, he really struggled.
Made a push, made a comeback, get within 11, but it's Hurts again. Tony, he had a 3 rushing touchdown day today.
He really did, and they do a great job, as I mentioned, against everybody else, but they don't seem to have an answer for Jalen Hurts.
So they've been running the ball well since the game against the Lions. They've figured out, well, it's not like Hurts do everything. Let's compliment him. And today, against the best run defense in the NFL, New Orleans, look at those numbers.
And what really helps that is the Jalen Hurts effect. You have to honor him. Those backside people can't chase as much. He spreads things out, and that lets the runners run inside.
5 of their last 6 in the division. Keep an eye on that. Speaking of in the division, Washington football team against Carolina. Cam's first game back in Charlotte. They wanted to be in the building. He said, it's my town. They welcomed him back. It also used to be Ron Rivera's town. Great welcome back.
Great
the coach who took them to the Super Bowl. So great matchups, great storylines. We're all leaving at 7, and it's Cam on the run.
Design run for Cam Newton. This is what he brings to the offense, and he gave them good quarterback play today.
He gives you the full, I'm going to the star. The shades of the old Dallas moment, right?
Superman.
Yeah, Cam with the touchdown there. It's 14-7. Taylor Heineke to Terry McLaurin. Heineke used to play in Carolina.
And he had a great Superman improv today impression. He did some good things, big plays.
He threw 3 touchdowns. This is a really nice throw from Newton to Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, and Christian is such a big part of their offense, but that was a beautiful throw.
It's tied. It's tight. 21. This is a really good game. 4th and 3. This is where the riverboat was first put in the water. So Ron's going for it on 4th and 3, and Heineke bails him out. What a play.
And can we say vintage Taylor Heineke?
Yes.
Somebody who's only played a couple of years, but that is what he does. Makes off-target throws, off-schedule throws, rather.
So a couple of field goals. Carolina's last chance. Newton, who played the entire game at quarterback, sacked here, cannot lead the comeback. And against his old coach, Ron Rivera, so much respect and love between those two men. Panthers lose at home for their 4th straight game. Yes, we can. Rolled up for the moment. How about in Taylor we trust? All those redemption comeback stories. Here's Taylor Heineke, out of football, played the playoff game against Washington last year, or Tampa last year, beat Tampa and Tom Brady last week, now beats Cam Newton this week. Impressive stuff as Washington stays in the mix. I want to spin back to Cam Newton with you, Tony. When you saw him play the entire game, maybe surprised, he only played 9 snaps the week before. What'd you see today?
Well, if I'm a Carolina fan, I'm encouraged, and coaching staff, I'd be encouraged too. Your quarterback play had been horrendous the last 3 or 4 weeks. Cam comes in, he helps the run game, he makes some play-action passes, didn't turn the ball over. I thought he played very well for just having 9 days to practice. That's what you're going to get from Cam Newton.
And this is the stretch when they need to win games because it gets tough for them down the stretch. But their defense needs to play better than it did today. For more on that, we simplify the game. That's powered by Microsoft Surface. And it's Drew and Christopher again.
Yeah, that's right. The Panthers defense was not good today, but I think a big part of that was the Washington offense we've seen. It's been played very complimentary football. They control the clock, they convert 3rd downs, and they make you defend the whole field. And that's what we saw from Washington today more than anything, right, Drew?
Yeah, exactly. They did a little bit of everything. Here, running the ball with Antonio Gibson. Great job by the offensive line. You see him covering everyone up, giving nice run lanes. It was all day long. They rushed the ball very well.
Yeah, ran the ball really well. And then, of course, we know defending the whole field's a big thing. Terry McLaurin He can take the top off the defense, beat one-on-one coverage. Heineke does a great job throwing the ball up to him.
Yeah, he is their big play guy. And when things break down, we saw it in the highlight on the 4th down, but Taylor Heineke has a flair for the dramatic. He knows where the first down markers are. You see this a couple times each and every week. Moving the ball, closing out games is what they've done these last 2 weeks as well, which has been a big factor for them.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. Playing defense, Heineke playing good football, making Washington tough to beat right now.
And Washington plays Seattle and Vegas the next couple of games. Couple of teams that are struggling. Missed him with a toe injury last week. Chase Claypool, former Notre Dame star, back in the lineup for the Steelers with Big Ben against the Chargers on Sunday Night Football.
Simplify the game, powered by Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider of the NFL.
Right, there's our guy, Najee Harris, Pittsburgh rookie, doing some great work in the community and on the field. The Steelers running back getting set for the Chargers on Sunday Night Football.
That was nifty right there.
Oh, my goodness! There is the explosive play!
Holy smokes!
Touchdown!
Oh, my gosh. What theater.
As we rise from the flames. Heart of a lion, never say never.
Oh, was that a sweet play?
Shine under pressure.
Chill-worthy. My goodness!
Oh, it's time to fire on earth.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Los Angeles has transformed back into an NFL town in a hurry. Just walking around this city, you can feel the divide between the Rams fans and the Chargers fans. And Mike Williams, he was easy to cheer for the first few weeks of the season. He had 6 touchdowns in the first 5 games, that was. But he hasn't scored in the past month. How did they get him going again?
Well, all week they talked about getting the ball to Mike Williams. No Joe Hayden, no Minka Fitzpatrick, all-pro safety. I expect him to take a bunch of shots down the field and see what the young rookie can do. Trey Norwood.
Sunday Night 7, we do it every single week. Tonight it is with, keep it right there with the wideouts. What do you say? Deontay Johnson, Keenan Allen, who has more receiving yards and receiving touchdowns?
I believe Deontay Johnson will have more. He's Big Ben's favorite target, and plus they need him to have a big game if they want to win this game.
You can make your picks right along with us on the NBC Sports Predictor app. Maria, back over to you.
All right, let's get back to the highlights. The Bengals traveling to Las Vegas, taking on the Raiders, and both Derek Carr and Joe Burrow trying to snap 2-game losing streaks to the second quarter. Joe Mixon gets out and gets going.
He was going all day long, Maria. Great job here reaching out for the end zone, but he had a big day, over 100 yards.
123 yards, 2 touchdowns today. Now he has 9 on the season. Then Derek Carr hooking up with Foster Moreau for a 19-yard TD.
Well, it wasn't easy on offense for the Raiders. Couldn't stay on the field on third downs. That was one of their better drives. 3 explosive pass plays on that one.
Yeah, they led there, but then how about explosive pass plays? Burrow to Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase, he's back. We haven't seen a lot of him lately, but they got it going. And the Bengals offense, again, Joe Mixon, he's one of the better running backs nobody knows about in football.
Let's hear from their quarterback, Derek Carr, after Las Vegas has lost 3 in a row.
I'm fed up. I just want to be a part of the moment it changes. You know, I want that so bad. And that's what keeps driving me. You know, I get pissed off and I get upset and I stand up here, and I've done this way too many times than I'd like to do it. You know, because in my heart, the men in our room, the way we work, the way we go after things, it shouldn't always end like this crap.
Next up for Vegas is Dallas on Thanksgiving. We'll see what they get. Meanwhile, the Ravens taking on the Bears. Lamar Jackson out with a non-COVID-related illness. Second-year QB Tyler Huntley making his first career start. And then Justin Fields with the Bears looking to end a 4-game losing streak. Fields scrambling. Watch him get taken down, Chris. And on the replay, you're going to see it's a little injured there.
Yeah, definitely. Takes a big hit. I mean, it ribs, gets a knee to the head there. Ultimately, I think it's the ribs that knock him out of the game, right, Maria?
He goes to the locker room. He does not return. It is called a rib injury. So Andy Dalton's back in. Dalton's first action since week 5, and on his second play, look who he finds. Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, Darnell Mooney. He can fly. I mean, he really can. You see here a screen pass, makes a few defenders miss, and nobody's going to stay with him in the open field.
Okay, let's go to the fourth quarter. Bears down 2. They're facing 4th and 11. Under 2 minutes left. Dalton, let's go with a heave and see what happens.
Hey, this was great. It was all-out blitz, so they didn't have enough blockers. He knew he had a one-on-one coverage with no safety down the middle of the field. and throws a nice ball up there for them to get the touchdown.
Bears take the 13-9 lead, but then the Ravens weren't done. 33 seconds left, 3rd and 12. Huntley hitting Sammy Watkins for the 29-yard gain.
Play of the day. I mean, great job by Huntley, just realizing the Bears messed up the coverage and hitting the wide-open guy.
Great for Huntley. Only 4 career games that he's ever played in, but now he walks away with a victory. Freeman capped it with a 3-yard touchdown. Ravens win at 16-13, stay in first place in the AFC North. Now the Colts taking on the Bills. Josh Allen. This is kind of a marker of how the day was going to go.
Yes.
He's intercepted by George Odom.
Off his game. Josh Allen was careless with the football throughout. The Bills' offense didn't look good, and it's still too Josh Allen-centric, Maria.
Well, now let's go ahead and get Jonathan Taylor-centric because he set a franchise record by scoring 5 touchdowns and took over league lead for both rushing touchdowns and rushing yards.
We know we can run the ball. He can catch the ball out of the backfield like you see here. Great game plan design play there by Frank Reich, sneaking him out the back door for the touchdown.
Okay, let's do it again. Let's sneak him right up the middle for another touchdown.
That's the middle door right there. Jonathan Taylor, since Derrick Henry's been out, there's not been a better running back in football. He has been a difference for this Colts offense.
And if it's not broke, let's go ahead and not fix it. A 10-yard touchdown run. There it goes. He was the first player to make it to 1,000 yards rushing this season. Now he sits at 1,122.
Oh.
Let's give it again.
Still not broke, I guess.
No.
Yeah.
You don't need to fix it. Jonathan Taylor's the 3rd player in the Super Bowl era to have 150 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara did it in 2020, Clinton Portis in 2003, and needless to say, there was a lot to celebrate in the locker room. Frank Reich, how do you feel?
All right, fellas, I know we got a long way to go, but oh my goodness! Can we do this together? How many touchdowns? Can we do this together? Had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6, 7. Oh, no, he only had 5 touchdowns. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, what a statement performance, but also a statement win. And you've been making statements about the fact that you want to see the Colts run the ball more.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied?
I'm satisfied. I'm happy for Frank Reich, who I think is a hell of a game planner on the offensive side of the ball. But yes, when they run the ball with that big, powerful offensive line and Taylor physical up the middle, but can also break the big runs, I think it changes their team completely. And they're one of the better teams in the AFC when they do that.
Okay, I got to give a shout out to Jonathan Taylor's high school, Salem High School in New Jersey, because yes, in the locker room, he said he was inspired by those guys. They won their division for the first time since 1983, and anyone who's tangentially related to Jonathan Taylor is having a great weekend. Mike, I don't know about the Buffalo Bills, though.
Yeah, no, that's the other side of this. The Colts are getting hot. They've won 5 of the last 7. The other 2 were close. The Bills, it's weird. Sometimes we'll watch Josh Allen in that offense and go, man, they are explosive. And then there are days like today. What are you seeing when you watch them?
I really don't know who they are. They don't really have much of an identity. They have not been able to run the ball consistently with anybody other than Josh Allen. A majority of their big pass plays come when he's outside the pocket, not consistently in the pocket. So they just lack any type of consistency.
Well, I have some advice for the Buffalo coaching staff. I know you love Josh Allen. We love Josh Allen and all that talent, but you called 8 runs for your running backs today. You can't win like that in Buffalo in December and January. You're going to have to be balanced. You're going to have to run the football to win.
And we will see them Thanksgiving night on NBC as it's the Saints and the Bills. I want to turn back to Baltimore. That's a big win with Lamar Jackson now. Bring Mike Florio back in. Tyler Huntley gets the start, gets the win. When did he find out, Mike, that he was going to start in Chicago today?
Yeah, I talked to him after the game. On his way to the bus, he got a text message from Lamar Jackson that said, "Go do your thing." And Tyler Huntley did his thing, and he said Lamar Jackson was the first one to congratulate him after the game in the locker room. And Huntley also said the extra practice time he's gotten this year definitely made a difference. Jackson has had 3 different illnesses now during the regular season that has created practice opportunities for Huntley. There was a back injury that knocked Jackson out of a couple of practices, more time for Huntley. And back in training camp, Jackson had COVID, and it was more practice reps for Huntley. This illness is not COVID, and I'm told that they expect him to be back next Sunday night against the Browns, that the Ravens would be shocked if Lamar Jackson isn't good to go.
That'd be a huge game. Look forward to seeing the Browns. The Ravens will be in Baltimore next Sunday night. We're in L.A. this Sunday night. Keenan Allen leads L.A. 65 catches, almost 700 yards. What will he do against the Steelers, who are missing some big defensive personnel on Sunday Night Football?
Welcome to the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff.
We're looking forward to this one at SoFi. It is the Steelers and the Chargers. Everybody, feels like half the NFL is right around 5-5, 5-4, 6-4. So these games are so important for these teams as we get into the real key games of this season. Let's go on the field. Presented by Hyundai. Look at the starting quarterbacks. Tony, Justin Herbert.
Yeah, and Drew, we're always telling young quarterbacks, you got to take care of the ball. You got to be careful. I think all of us here are saying, push the ball down the field, be aggressive again.
Exactly. And he's got the big arm to do it, and he's got his big target, Mike Williams, out there ready for it. And how about Big Ben here? Coming off of COVID, missed a bunch of practice. I think for most people like myself, I was a rep guy. I wanted those reps. I needed those reps for the timing and rhythm. Big Ben's a little more, street ball, run around, improvise. That kind of fits his profile. But he loves his run game. Loves the way that defense is playing. Although they're down some guys tonight, he's going to need to make some plays tonight.
Use that run game. Help the defense out tonight, Pittsburgh.
All right, we'll get you there in a little bit, but last couple of highlights here. I want to start with Arizona taking on Seattle, a Seattle team that's been struggling. Arizona's been without Kyler Murray. Can they win 2 out of 3 without Kyler Murray with Colt McCoy, who won in Seattle last year for the Giants? Shovel here to Zach Ertz. What an acquisition.
He has been, and Colt McCoy wasn't great last week, but today he was really, really efficient.
That was a 16-play drive. It's Ertz on a 13-play drive here.
And Ertz has helped them being acquired since the trade deadline.
Seattle had struggled in almost 3 games really without a touchdown on offense. DJ Dallas gets one. It tightens up fourth quarter. Seattle, this is the one they can get. No, late. Here's the flag on Jamal Adams, who struggled covering Ertz. It sets up James Conner for the clincher.
And this was a great drive to finish the game. Arizona just ate up the whole clock, really.
They are 6-0 on the road, all 6 wins by double digits. Game of the day, Dak and Dallas off the big win against Atlanta. Mahomes and the Chiefs off the big win last Sunday night. Do you feel the mojo building? Yeah, Andy Reid's in the playbook.
Yes, and Eric Bieniemy in the red zone will put Patrick Mahomes at the deep tailback and let Travis Kelce operate the zone read.
Why not? Slam it in there. Touchdown. Kelce missed the extra point, 6-0. After exchange of field goals, Dan Quinn's defense trying to stop Kansas City.
Another red zone trickery.
It's Mahomes. Look at him. He's just styling on the way back to the sideline. Clyde Edwards-Helaire pointed, taunted, but
don't worry about that. Hey, we scored. Let's celebrate.
KC up 16-3. Before the half, it is Dak already without Amari Cooper. Here intercepted, and CeeDee Lamb hits his head. Concussion, out the rest of the game.
Big play. They lost points, at least 3 points there, and lost CD for the entire second half.
All right, so it's fourth quarter. Cowboys offense cannot get going. 19-9 game. Pressure on Prescott. Chris Jones and Jaron Reed combined here.
And we've been calling for this all year, Mike. Put Chris Jones back at tackle. He's one of the most dominating players in the NFL when he's playing inside. He made huge plays today.
On the move late, L'Jarius Sneed comes up with the INT, and guess who tipped it?
All Chris Jones.
Chiefs win. They're on a 4-game winning streak. Quiet.
Yeah, a little getting that swag back.
Yeah, you can hear the Chiefs starting to feel that championship feel again. Look at the last 4 games. Focus on the defense. They have started to shut people down, allowing only 12 points per game on the defensive side. Time now for the Sunday night game flow, presented by Progressive. Maria and Chris.
Well, yeah, Mike, and coming into this game, Dallas led the league in total offense and scoring offense, so you have to tell me how the Chiefs defense was able to contain them tonight.
Well, I think dominating the line of scrimmage and sticky coverage downfield, that was the biggest thing. And you heard Coach talk about it. Coach Dungy is exactly right. They're a different defense when Chris Jones is in the interior part of the defensive line. He affects the game in so many ways. Cowboys interior offensive lineman, either guard could not block Chris Jones one-on-one. You can see it right here in these highlights. He was in Dak Prescott's face throughout the night. And then what I was also surprised about, Maria, was just how well the Chiefs corners covered the weapons of the Dallas Cowboys. I know CeeDee Lamb got hurt and Amari Cooper wasn't there. The rest of these guys can run and got size and are pretty good too. Kansas City was all over them throughout the game.
That was a Sunday night game flow presented by Progressive. Andy Reid said his defense brought it every single snap, and I'm so happy that you have finally done a game flow.
Defense.
On the defense. He finally did it, Mike.
Yes, and it's a good thing too, because that Kansas City defense has stepped up during this winning streak. Chris Jones has been a big part of it. Frank Clark healthy on the outside. That pressure does help those corners.
Yeah, and the better that they play on offense, and especially when they can get the lead, it really allows them to tune up some of their pressures as well. I felt like they were confusing Dallas's offense in a lot of cases, making them get the ball out quickly, late and then rallying up to tackle.
But I know Kansas City is still not satisfied with this. 3 points in the second half. They weren't really sharp on offense. When they had a chance to put the dagger in a couple times, they really didn't do it. Penalties, a couple of turnovers. They've got to be better, but I know they're happy about that defense.
Hey, can I circle back to Dallas a second? Because Dallas, I know you're without Amari Cooper. CeeDee Lamb goes out in the game. Ezekiel Elliott got hurt during the game. It didn't feel like Dallas ever got into an offensive flow today either.
No, they didn't. They didn't get to have their big play weapons out there, but also I think a lot of it was a product of just the defense's ability to get pressure with 4, and then some of these just disguised pressures seemed to really confuse them. Zeke got a little banged up, and so they just didn't run the ball well either.
And Dallas was missing some offensive linemen. Not having Tyron Smith in was big. They never, Dallas still is running the football. That's when they give you problems, and they didn't run it well today.
Cowboys, Raiders, Lions, Bears, Bills, Saints all have one thing in common. They all lost. They all have 2 things in common. They all play Thanksgiving. So it's going to be a very unhappy short week for those 6 teams. We're getting set in Southern California for an important game. Mike T's got the Steelers, Black and Gold Nation, ready to roll. Terrible Towels, welcome on the road. Nobody travels like Steelers fans. Brandon Staley trying to build something. It's their place, trying to build a new era of Charger football. Head-to-head coming up on Sunday Night Football. They'll have Big Ben. They'll have Chase Claypool. Freiermuth, the tight end, who's been a big factor in the Steelers' pass game. We'll see what Pittsburgh does. They are on the road, and I say that with air quotes, because it won't feel like a road game. There'll be a lot of Steeler fans in L.A.
Look at that.
7 minutes away from Sunday Night Football. But first, the best of Week 11 presented by us. Let's start with Indianapolis and Buffalo, Tony. And the Bills had no answer for Jonathan Taylor.
No, windy day, a little bit of drizzle, run the football, and Jonathan Taylor did it today.
He had 5 total touchdowns. Colts have won 3 straight, 5 of their last 6. The Ravens in Chicago, no Lamar Jackson. Tyler Huntley comes up big.
Yeah, big throw here in the 4th quarter. Busted coverage, finds the open guy, gets him down there in scoring position.
Sammy Watkins caught it. Devontae Freeman ran it in. We'll see the Ravens host the Browns next Sunday night. And Baltimore will be 7-3 when they do that. Speaking of the Browns, Nick Chubb back in the lineup.
Yes, and it's not Baker Mayfield or OBJ who's the key to this offense. It's Nick Chubb. When he plays, they roll.
Lions stay winless. They host the Bears to start Thanksgiving. Out in Vegas, Bengals on top. Joe Mixon, good game on the ground.
Yeah, really good balance all game long for the Cincinnati Bengals. Big plays in the passing game and just a steady ground attack with Joe Mixon.
Steeler fans, your team goes to Cincinnati next week. Tony, Arizona won 2 out of 3 without Kyler Murray.
Yeah, and add another playmaker to that offense in Zach Ertz.
From Ertz to his old team and from Ertz to Hurts. Jalen, 3 touchdowns on the ground.
Yeah, 40-plus rush attempts for this Philadelphia Eagles offense. Jalen Hurts wore them down with that read option running attack. Really played well today.
In Minnesota, Green Bay, Minnesota, they give us good games. They did again. Cousins was big.
Bring pressure, get the ball up, give Justin Jefferson a chance. He'll make plays for you.
Star, Justin Jefferson, he had 2. Not to be outdone, Aaron Rodgers, Marquez Valdez-Scantling to tie the game.
Lakewood High School in St. Pete, he ran away from him back then, too.
Still running, but good credit to Minnesota. They burned the whole clock, didn't give Rodgers the ball back. Greg Joseph, that's ball game. Packers lost 2 of their last 3. Minnesota within 2 of Green Bay. We'll see them on the first Sunday night of 2022. That game's scheduled in Lambeau on NBC. Dallas and Kansas City. Chiefs rolling because they're pulling out the turkeys.
Chiefs getting their swagger back, doing a little bit of everything. Kelsey running it. He's going to lobby to throw it next time.
Well, he's got time to lobby. They got to buy over Thanksgiving. Story of the day, Titans at home. They're playing Houston. No chance, right? Wrong.
No Derrick Henry, a lot more on Ryan Tannehill's shoulders. 4 interceptions today.
Credit to Houston, who ends an 8-game slide. That's the best of Week 11. You know the best part of Week 11 is? Because it's a tradition unlike any other. On the Sunday before Thanksgiving, we break out the playoff picture. Titans, Ravens, Patriots, and Chiefs lead the division. You see the Steelers in one of those wild card spots. Chargers trying to get over there. The Colts improved their status significantly on this day. Let me come back to the Titans. That's a really disappointing loss. We were thinking this may be the best team in the AFC, and you lose to one of the worst teams in the AFC. What has gone differently for them?
Well, I'll tell you what's happened. I'll go old school on you, Mike. To me, this is like playing the Houston Oilers without Earl Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you have a lot less to worry about. You don't get the same coverages. You don't get defenses really sucked in. It's going to be different for Ryan Tannehill down the stretch.
Yeah, I think their defense has really played well the last 3 weeks. talking about the Tennessee Titans. And if that continues, that's going to give them a chance. But if they can't find a way to manufacture the run game, which is in turn going to complement what they can do in the play-action game, it's going to be tough for them on offense to score points.
Big win for Houston. All right, time now for tonight's home team picks. Brought to you by Lowe's. We'll go out to L.A. Jack, get us going.
All right, Mike, 71% of the country is on the Chargers. Pittsburgh got a slow start. They've come back to life this past month. LA exploded early, but they've dropped 3 of their last 4. Sounds about like my game picks. But tonight, Herbert reignites. He reignites championship dreams in the Super Bowl city. I'm riding the lightning rod. Give me the bowl, too.
I look at the Steelers. They're missing a lot of key pieces on the defensive side. But I believe in Mike Tomlin, and I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Absolutely.
I got to watch the game with you?
Yes, you do.
Mike Florida, who do you like?
Hey, I like the Steelers when they had their Sunday night home game 5 weeks ago. It's a home game tonight for the Steelers in L.A. I like the Steelers again, Chris and Maria.
All right, Mike, I'm rolling with you. I like the Steelers as well. I'm not going against Mike Tomlin on Sunday Night Football.
I'm not either. I'm going with the Steelers as well. I mean, the Chargers can't stop the run, and I still got faith in the Steelers defense to slow down Herbert and company.
You know, the most important part of the thing this time of the year is when you start to pay attention to the loss column. Having said that, I like the Chargers. Go ahead, guys.
Well, I'm a former Steeler. I want to pick the Steelers, but they're missing half of their starting secondary. They're missing their best pass rusher, and their quarterback hasn't practiced all week. So I have to take the Chargers.
We've challenged the Chargers all night long with getting the big plays back. Yep. They're going to get them back tonight. I'm picking the Chargers.
All right. So we got a little spread there, and the whole desk here going for the Chargers. We'll see what happens. It should be an interesting matchup with these teams. Let's see if Roethlisberger has rust or not. Those were tonight's home team picks, brought to you by Lowe's. I'd like to thank Michael Irvin for lending me his suit here tonight. A huge game in the AFC playoff picture coming up. The 5-3-1 Steelers, the 5-4 Chargers. You know how tightly packed it is in the AFC. Who gets a leg up on the way to Thanksgiving? Al, Chris, Michelle coming up. Carrie Underwood kicks it off. Enjoy the game, and we will see you at halftime.
This has been the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff. Spanish language audio provided by Telemundo Deportes. Or watch tonight's game in Spanish on Universo.